Welcome back to the pregame. Time now for our talk with Coach Butch Pedersen, presented by Main Street Suites. Coach, solid win last week, 51-6 against Louisa Muscatine at home.
Yeah, it really was, and it's good. We had an opportunity to get everybody on the field, and everybody got some playing time, and I think that's really helpful for a teamwork standpoint. The seniors and juniors watched the young kids get to play, and it made them even hungrier to stay on the field.
Well, in this situation, Coach Hirschman at halftime was talking to Jared Tiley and said you guys were preaching focus. Obviously, with the Veterans Appreciation Night, a team that on paper you knew probably should be able to defeat. How do you think the guys responded and be able to be focused out
I thought
there?
they were very focused, and I think that's a key to the next 4 games as well, because we have 4 teams that on paper we're probably underdogs on all 4 of them. We don't really play the game on paper too much, so we don't really pay a whole lot of attention to that stuff. We're just going to play one game at a time like we always have, and we're going to go down there and play as hard as we possibly can and be as physical as we possibly can.
Well, taking that a step further, back-to-back games that big wins. Wide margin, we had the 35-point rule in effect. Great for the confidence, but how do you make sure that the guys keep that hunger and keep that physicality being able to go with that tougher portion of the schedule now?
Well, I think they understand that we've been preaching that since camp. The last 4 games are going to be extremely tough. We had to get ourselves ready for district play, so we've been working on that for over 4 or 5 weeks. So I'm not really too worried about that.
Well, we're halfway through the season, and we talked a lot early on. Carver Belk, new guy at quarterback. Talk about kind of his progression, where he's at through these first 4 games.
He's getting better every game. He's a passing threat now. He wasn't at the beginning of the year, but he is now. He's got great feet. He's starting to get a feel for what we want to do, and we're getting a feel for what he can do, and I think that's important. It works both ways.
One of the other areas that I'd been looking at all year long feels kind of similar to over in Iowa City with the Hawkeyes, the offensive line. You've been moving some pieces around a little bit. Feels like you're finding that group that gels, but you still have those 2, 3, 4 guys that can step in if needed.
There's no question. We got some depth now, and a lot of the kids are still young. We're having a lot of foolish mistakes at times, but it's going to pay off in the long run.
Well, like you said, Mediapolis tonight. They're the ones that knocked us out of the playoffs last year. Very athletic team. What's the key to victory here for the Bears?
Not to give up the big play. You can't give up the big play. We have to keep the penalty level down and field position. I think those 3 components are very, very big in any game that you play, especially one that's going to be a great football game like this one.
We're looking forward to it, Coach. Thanks very much for joining us.
All right, thank you.
That is Coach Butch Pedersen, presented by Main Street Suites. We'll be back with more of the pregame. You're listening to the Bearcast at westbranch.football.